This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by Greenworks Consult, a company run by longtime listener to the show, Jason, who's an expert when it comes to helping businesses get better at doing business. Jason and his team over at Greenworks Consults are good at helping entrepreneurs tune up and dial in their business operations through better project management, workflow mapping and design, and process standardization. They're experts in Lean and Six Sigma and can work with you to make things run more smoothly and profitably. Learn more about what Greenworks Consults is up to over at greenworksconsults.com with works spelled W-O-R-X. That's greenworksconsults.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Friday, February 21st, 2020, and you're tuned in to episode 889 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Marijuana Moment grabs all three top stories as we wind down the news week, as Ben Adlin kicks things off with a pickup of a headline out of New Hampshire, where yesterday the House of Representatives passed an adult use legalization bill 236 to 112. The bill is similar to one passed by neighboring Vermont back in 2018 in that it makes legal the cultivation, possession, use, and sharing of marijuana among adults, but not its sale or purchase. For a state with the slogan, live free or die, New Hampshire lawmakers have been relatively behind the ball in passing laws freeing up the use of cannabis. So this dialed back version is an attempt to garner enough support from conservative lawmakers. New Hampshire also has the problem of having a prohibitionist Republican chief executive, as Governor Chris Sununu has stated in the past, a policy of blocking all progressive cannabis policy reform. The bill passed by the House yesterday, House Bill 1648, now heads to the Senate for consideration there. Ben's story at Marijuana Moment is packed with background and detail. Pop over if this grabs your attention. Kyle Yeager jumps into the number 2 slot on this fine Friday with a story not unlike our top headline, as the Kentucky House of Representatives voted yesterday 63 to 30 in favor of a bill to legalize medical marijuana. Kentucky House Bill 136, if passed into law, would set up a limited medical marijuana program allowing registered patients the freedom to use non-smokable or vapable forms of medical cannabis that would be sold in a minimum of 25 statewide dispensaries. The legislation faces an uncertain path through the Kentucky State Senate, where it now heads, as Senate President Robert Stivers is generally considered to be a prohibitionist, though he did signal last month that he'd be open to passing a medical bill with the right features. We're going to have to keep an eye on this one to see if House Bill 136 has those right features, so I'm sure we'll be checking back on this storyline sometime soon. Another one you should open up in full if this lands on your radar of interest. Kyle keeps the news train rolling with our final top story today, as the U.S. Department of Agriculture just announced that it has approved industrial hemp cultivation plans from the states of Washington and Wyoming, in addition to plans from 3 native tribes. Industrial hemp was made legal under the 2018 Farm Bill, but the system still requires states and native tribes to file proposed hemp cultivation plans with the USDA for approval. This one is a big storyline in general, as industrial hemp is set to become a pretty massive industry. Open this story up as well today, if only to click over to the USDA's website showing the list of all approved hemp cultivation plans from states and native tribes. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Greenworks Consults, which is run by longtime listener to the show, Jason, who's an expert when it comes to helping businesses get better at doing business. The days of being able to just throw open your doors and start selling marijuana easily are over. And it's these smart operators who make sure to tune up and dial in their business right from the start, who are going to continue to survive and thrive in this ever-changing industry. Every dollar that you waste is a dollar that's not going towards furthering your business goals or going into your bank account. And the funny thing about operating inefficiencies is they don't go away. So every month you'll see the same hits to your bank account again and again and again each month, which adds up. By working with pros like Jason and his team at Greenworks Consults, you'll plug all the operational leaks, draining away your money month to month. Greenworks Consults knows all the different ways that businesses can optimize their work to realize higher profits. If you like higher profits, get in touch with Jason and his team at Greenworks Consults, and they'll lead you to them. Learn more about all the things Greenworks Consults is capable of and get in touch over at greenworksconsults.com, with works spelled W-O-R-X. All right, time for the Blitz. Nassim Benjabin at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch did a good bit of journalistic footwork in pulling together a well-researched story looking at the winners of the recent lottery for marijuana business licenses held in Missouri, as that state works to kick off its new medical marijuana program. As Nassim's piece has it, 130 individual business groups were awarded the 369 total business licenses handed out, with different amounts of licenses being awarded for cultivation, dispensing, testing, processing, and transportation. If Missouri's on your states to watch, this is one you definitely need to read in full. Tom Angel, writing over at Forbes, brings us news from the world of sport as the National Football League appears to be on the verge of removing game suspensions handed out to players for using marijuana. According to Tom's story, team owners and players are working out a collective bargaining agreement that not only removes suspensions for marijuana users, but also cuts the window in which players can be tested from 4 months before training camp to just 2. And bumps up the level of THC that a player's drug screening has to come back to be considered positive from 35 nanograms per milliliter of blood to 150. Right now, the plan has been approved by team owners and is being considered by the NFL Players Association. Arizona-based marijuana company Harvest Health and Recreation just bought out one of its larger in-state rivals with a scoop up of Arizona natural selections for an undisclosed amount of stock. The deal will give Harvest control of 3 additional licensed dispensaries, a license to open up a 4th dispensary, a 55,000 square foot cultivation facility, and a 322-acre site built out with a 70,000 square foot greenhouse that's also zoned for a 25-acre marijuana cultivation. Marijuana Business Daily is reporting that the nation of Peru appears to be out of legal medical marijuana supply just a few months after making it legal. Peru's very limited medical marijuana program launched with the purchase of just 10 liters of CBD cannabis oil from Oregon-based company Arden Naturals, which was then broken down and sold in 10 milliliter bottles. But as Marijuana Business Daily's Alfredo Pascual is reporting, a leading medical marijuana advocate in Peru has posted on Facebook that the nation's medical marijuana program appears to be completely devoid of product. There's lots to dive into here if this catches your fancy. We have another similar story from Marijuana Business Daily, this time with Matt Lamer swinging down under to look at the current state of legal medical marijuana supply in the nation of Australia. As Matt has it, government officials say that Australia has plenty of licensed domestically produced medical cannabis, while industry insiders are saying that most of the medical cannabis actually sold to patients is coming from the overseas market, mostly out of Canada. Australia had just 30,000 or so registered patients at the end of 2019 and expects to end this year at over 70,000, so the supply issue is one the nation certainly needs to figure out. Nevada-based investment company Australis Capital just announced that it is calling off a planned acquisition of Colorado-based hemp company Folium Biosciences due to a run of fairly outrageous stories attached to the hemp company, including plots of murder for hire and kidnapping. This story is kinda crazy and well worth the click through to a much longer detailed piece in the Colorado Springs Independent outlining the apparently criminally convoluted story of Folium Biosciences. Dive on in. Grabbing his third headline of the day is Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moment, who takes us out on the week with a story about New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who said yesterday that he plans to visit states with legal marijuana programs to gather insight and advice for how to better structure his own state's system. Governor Cuomo said, speaking of marijuana legalization, quote, "I also want to make sure it's done correctly. You look at states that have legalized marijuana, many of them have generated more questions. I'm going to visit Massachusetts, Illinois, and California or Colorado, unquote. We have to see how that manifests in New York State's actual program, but it's encouraging at least to hear that Governor Cuomo is eager to hear from other states. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again Monday morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Greenworks Consults, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.